Now you know how the system works. Let's talk about researching your niche, finding your niche, and then, of course, finding businesses that you can sell leads to. The first thing we want to figure out is what niche you are going to go into. That's the most important thing you need to figure out. Which specific businesses will you be selling these specific niche-based leads to? Then, of course, we'll do some research. We'll brainstorm a little bit. We'll do some market research, keyword research, and profitability research to make sure that the niche that we are going to go into is indeed profitable. If it is not profitable, really there's no point in going into it. And of course, C, we'll search for businesses. Once we find the niche, once we have done the proper research, which is important, then we can go out and find businesses that we can sell leads to. But we need to follow this step-by-step specific process from A, B, and C in order to do everything correctly. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is talk about niches. What niche will you be focusing on? Well, we need to target a specific niche. So the question is, what kind of business do you want to sell your leads to? This is what you need to figure out. You need to figure out whether you're going to sell it specifically only to offline businesses or only to online businesses. I know you might have the temptation to choose both offline and online, but don't. And the reason why I say don't is because you need to focus on one or the other. If you try to focus on both, then it gets too general, and then you won't succeed as much as you would if you just picked one. So with that in mind, in this specific video series, I'm going to just choose offline. It's okay if the offline business has an online component, whereas they are selling some sort of info product, some sort of thing that they can sell to the global market. But most likely not. They most likely are just going to be an offline business selling to the local market. So that's what I'm going to focus on in this particular video series. If you just choose to sell to online businesses, that's fine. But keep in mind that you need to plan out your route and plan out sort of like your business plan right now. And that's what we're doing. So we'll choose offline. Now that you know if you're doing offline or online, you need to figure out what niche it's going to be. So you can use Google. Here are some ideas that will allow you to figure out what kind of business you want to target. One thing I found is if you go to Google and you search for quotes, you might find a lot of things like services, insurance companies, credit report companies. Companies that have services are great. Recurring services, consultant services, services that cost a good amount of money. Services, maybe lawyer services, which can be a little tricky there, but services are great because you know that these types of people have an ongoing service. They're not just selling, tires and that's it. They're selling an ongoing service that is continuing because they sell it once, then they have back-end products and ongoing products, recurring products. So these types of companies generally will value your types of leads. So if you find a good company that is willing to pay $10, $20, $30, or even $40 for a specific lead, then great. Now, you got to remember, these leads must convert. So when I say lead, I'm not just thinking about a whole list of leads. You have to prove to a lot of these companies whether or not your leads are going to convert. So you can show them your system. You don't have to show them exactly how your system works, otherwise they can probably copy it. But it's necessary. You might even give them 10 free quotes. Check it out. Because if these services realize that your service, your lead generation service is great, and your leads actually convert, you're going to stand out because a lot of lead generation services act on high volume. They don't give 10 or 20 quotes here and there. They usually give businesses 10,000 leads and only 3 or 4 leads will actually convert. So that's what your goal here is. Stand out. Make sure that your leads are converting and are highly qualified leads. We'll get into more detail on how to find those high quality leads. For example, leads that convert are generally ones that take a specific action or that purchased a product just recently. You might ask yourself, what may be highly sought out in your area? What are services? What are consultant services? What are, places that offer ongoing services? Or what are hobbies that people enjoy that they constantly invest money into? Well, in this video series, I chose golf because I live in South Carolina and there's a lot of golf clubs around South Carolina. So the choice is golf in South Carolina, USA, which is my local area. And we're going to choose golf because golf, anywhere I turn, I see a golf course. So I know that they get a lot of people coming to the course. But what I want to do is probably find a specific niche within the golf arena. So that's what we're going to try to do. Maybe we'll look at golf clubs, or maybe we'll look at golf stores. Because I know for a fact, a lot of my friends play golf. I don't play golf, but a lot of my friends do. And keep in mind that you don't have to be a golfer to, or a specific, know in that area, or have an interest in that area in order to sell leads to that companies. It might help because sometimes maybe you're a golfer and maybe you buy golf clubs. So sometimes these businesses, if you approach them, they might be a lot more interested if you do buy their golf clubs. And I do want to say this. One tip and one secret is this. A lot of businesses, it's hard for them to turn away a customer. So if you buy something from them, most likely they are going to be interested in what you have to say. If you're coming out, you're not a buyer, and you just want to sell leads to them, of course they're going to be interested too. I mean, because that's the lifeblood of their business. Okay, so with that said, let's move on. Let's talk about research. Research is very important. It tells you whether the niche you're going into is going to be profitable or not. If you do the proper research and you find out that it's not profitable, then you don't have to invest a lot of time into it. The first thing we want to do is brainstorm. I would recommend you getting a piece of paper and a pen, going somewhere other than the internet. This is the only time that I would recommend you actually go and use your brain. So sit in your corner, figure out, brainstorm, what kind of niches are in golfing? What kind of sub-niches? Well, we have country clubs, we've got golf courses, we've got golf stores, and we have a few other things specifically in golf. Now that you have done your brainstorming, you can actually go back online and use Google Trends. And then you can use your keyword research. Do your research for keywords. We're going to use the Word Tracker free tool, the keyword tool, and then we're going to use SpyFu, which is the free version as well. So all of these tools are free. With that said, let's go do some research. So the first tool that we're going to use is going to be Google Trends, and you can get there by going to www.google.com/trends. Now, the reason why we're going to use Google Trends Labs is because it allows you to see in your specific local area whether or not something is going to be profitable or worth going after or not. Now, in this case, I'm going to search for golf. And I'm just going to keep it as a general keyword. I'm not going to specifically search for a specific keyword term. Now, once you have entered your keyword here, what you can do is choose a region. Because right now we're pretty much on all regions, so it's searching the whole world. We don't want the whole world. I just want Columbia, South Carolina, or South Carolina in general. So what I want to do is choose United States of America, or whatever location you're at. You just choose your country first. Now that I'm in the United States, I can choose a subregion. And as you can see here, if I want to go online and I want to sell, to other places, I can do that. One thing you'll notice is on the United States of America, the nice thing is that South Carolina is the third subregion that has a lot of searches. It just happens to be in the culture down here that a lot of people around here play golf and they are addicted to golf. A lot of my friends are addicted to golf. So it's nice to see that South Carolina is on the third region. So if I wanted, I could just click here, but I'm just going to go up here just to show you the proper way to find it. Is if the sub-region here, all I have to do is scroll down and choose South Carolina. Now this gives me a little more detail about the search volume. And I can also see some news as well here, but I'm going to ignore the news. My whole goal is just to see the search volume as well as the location. So the highest cities within South Carolina is North Myrtle Beach. They have a lot of golf courses there. Pawleys Island, Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head. And these are all on the eastern side of the South Carolina. And then we have Springfield, South Carolina, Conway, Greenwood, and Irmo. So what I want to do is probably choose a location that's closer to me, one of these. And then now that I have a good idea that, okay, golf is a good niche, and that South Carolina is ranked number 3 in the whole nation, that's a good sign for me and for any lead generation services that are out there. So that's the searches there. I can go to websites. There's no websites, so that tells me, okay, it's a good sign. My goal here is to find offline businesses that might not have, a lot of time to invest into their marketing, and they need somebody else maybe to find leads for them. So if you're watching this video and you are trying to find leads, you can use these same techniques to find leads. Then I can go maybe a little more depth and type in golf courses. I can see that the search changed a little bit. Now, I know I didn't mention this before, but basically whenever somebody types in golf courses, Google will record the location in which they're typing that keyword at. And that's how you get these rankings. So these are online searches because we're using online lead generation. We're generating leads through the online arena, and then we're going to sell these leads to an offline business. So let's say, for example, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I could approach these golf courses on the offline arena, but utilize Google Trends and all these other types of online lead generation methods to sell these leads to these people. Now that you know how to use Google Trends, and we can see that it is obvious that South Carolina's market is great for golf courses, we can use the other two free tools, which is Word Tracker and SpyFu. The first thing I'm going to use is Word Tracker. If you go to freekeywords.wordtracker.com, as you can see in this video, it'll take you here. So what I'm going to do here is just type in a general keyword. You always want to start out with a general keyword so that you can get specific keywords using this tool. So I'm going to type in golf and start looking. Now, you got to keep in mind that this free keyword tool is only going to show you the top 10 searches only, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Word Tracker's actual tool is well worth it as well if you want to do some deeper keyword research. Now, as you can see here, Word Tracker has given us specific niches within the golf niche. So if you don't know anything about golf, or you do know a little bit but you don't know a lot, this can really teach you a lot more about golf, because you kind of want to know a little bit about golf before you approach these golf offline businesses. And if it would actually be better if you know a little bit about golf. So as you can see here, every day 3,846 people search the term step-by-step golf swing. They always want to improve their golf swing. Then we have golf clubs. People want to buy golf clubs because they want to improve their distance, their range, things like that. Find out maybe the weaknesses or the problems that golfers face. Watch golf online, golf carts, Dunlap golf, use golf clubs, golf tips, golf equipment, and we have other things like that. Generally, searches that, as you can see, as they go down, they get into specific niches. And generally, the more specific it is, the more the keyword is a long tail phrase. Long tail keywords are generally things that are longer, like 3, 4, 5 keywords. Proper way to swing a golf club. You could maybe set up a 10-page report or a specific video. Get some content, and then generate some leads. Get some leads by using videos 4, 5, and 6, or 4 and 5 in this specific video series for local leads, and drive traffic to that specific report. And then if somebody opts in to get that report, then you have yourself a prospect lead. Or you could sell that report, and if somebody purchased, you would have a customer-based lead. And then you could sell that lead at a higher price. So now you can actually see how all of this is coming together, now that you can see what we're searching for and what kind of businesses we might be searching for. Now that you have done your proper keyword research, you can save these keywords maybe in Excel spreadsheet. Then you can go to SpyFu. SpyFu tells you whether or not a keyword is profitable or not. For example, if I type in the keyword golf and do a search on SpyFu, what SpyFu will do is it'll go to Google AdWords and it'll find what the average cost per click is. So right now, everybody's paying about 51 cents on average to $1.47 per click. So basically, every time somebody clicks a Google AdWords ad, they have to pay this much for that keyword. And that's why we want to go into specific keywords. And that's the reason why we want to use word trackers to find these specific keywords. For example, like I said earlier, proper way to swing a golf club. Most likely, because there's only 212 searches per day, it's a low amount of searches, but you get a higher conversion. What I do is if I go to google.com and I type in that keyword in quotations, I see that there's only one person here and 2 people here that are posting their ad on Google AdWords. So that tells me that I don't have to dish out a lot of money. I could even type that in here. I don't know if SpyFu does not have information, but my guess is because there's not a lot of competition, your bid rate is probably only going to be like a few cents here, 10, 20, 30 cents. And that's not bad if you're going to sell each and every one of these leads. Well, of course, these leads got to convert. But if you're offering a free report and somebody typed that in and there's a proper way to swing a golf club, and if they go to your landing page and it says as one of these features, here's a proper way to swing a golf club. If that happens, then think about it. They get that free report. They type that into search. They get that free report. Most likely your opt-in rate is going to be anywhere from 80 or more %. Now, that's not a guarantee, but that's most likely is what is going to happen because they get it free, or they get a report for maybe you could sell it for $7. And your goal here is not really to make a lot of money on the front end. It's merely to test whether or not that prospect will become a buyer. So if you put them through this whole process that I'm showing you right now, you're going to get leads for less than $1. You sell them for 10, 20 bucks, and your return on investment is going to be a lot greater. So you can see where I'm going here. Now, SpyFu is what we used earlier just to test profitability. We can see that it is indeed profitable. Google Trends was used mainly to figure out whether or not we would want to go into it. So that's good. What I can do is just save these cities here. What I'm going to do is copy, go to Notepad, and paste, and keep that there. And then I want to maybe close that out, and then copy these over to maybe Excel. So I could click that, copy that, and then go to Find Excel. I'm using OpenOffice. And let me show you a cool thing. If I'm here, I'm looking at Excel spreadsheet. Well, it's not really Excel, it's OpenOffice. What I do is click here, click on Edit, click Paste Special, click on Unformatted Text, and you'll see why. And I'm going to format this a little bit better so that I can see it better. You'll notice that each and every line has that search, like parentheses, search, and a space before that. What I want to do is copy that, and what I'm going to do is click on Edit, find and replace, paste that over, make sure that there's a space over, and leave that blank. Click on Replace All, and there we go. So now, as you can see, we've got all the keywords in a column right here. That way, if we do decide to use that specific keyword, we can just copy and paste it over without having anything else in that line. So that makes it convenient for you. So what I might do is at the bottom here is go back here, cut that, and then copy that below here so that we have that here. Unclose that, and you want to save it to whatever location you want to save it to. So what I might do is go here, create a new folder, maybe let's call it Golf Lead Generation, and we'll just call this Keyword Research, Keyword and Market Research. All right, so once we're done with that, I'm going to save it as an XLS file, and we're good to go. We've pretty much done our research. As you can see, it was fairly easy to do. So I'm going to minimize that, close out Word Tracker and Google. Now that you have done your research, you can actually search for businesses. And now that we know that this specific niche is indeed profitable, we can invest some time and money into it. When you're searching for businesses, I would highly recommend that you use Google Local, which is basically the Google search engine, and they list the local search results for businesses. And then I advise you to go on Yahoo Local, and then Bing. There's other places that you can search for, like Yelp.com, which is where a lot of people go to and they review the place. But these are some of the sites that I would recommend. So with that said, let's go find some businesses. Now that we are sure about what niche to look into, we can find the businesses. Now, what I would recommend you use is Google's local results or search engine results for the local area. And we're going to use local.yahoo.com, and we're going to use bing.com. So those three sites. The first thing I want to use is Google Local, which all you have to do is go to Google, click on Maps, and then I'm going to type in South Carolina in quotations so that Google knows. And then I'll type in, let's say, golf courses. Golf course. There's private golf courses and golf courses. My main audience would probably be golf courses because the private golf courses probably, are private, so most likely they get their leads. So I'm going to focus on golf courses here. If I focus on golf courses, I notice that, let's see, we still have 3,143 results, which is a ton. You can see it on the map here. If I zoom out, you got South Carolina, and they got lots, especially on the edge here, and the beach here, and then in the central location, and then here. There's not a lot here and here and here. So my goal here is maybe choose a location near me. And another nice thing is if you go to this location and you click on user rating, you can find what people think about that specific golf course. Now, as we can see, Yellow Pages does provide golf courses as well, so we could use that as another avenue if we wanted to. So right now I've got 4 stars and up. I'm only listing 4 stars and up, and we've got 233 results, mainly on the side here. Some have 6 reviews, some have 81 reviews, some have 22, 112 reviews, and things like that. Now, what is my point? Well, my point is that the ones with higher reviews are probably interested in getting more people. But the people with a lot of reviews are probably people who are marketing online a lot. So I probably don't want to focus a lot on these guys. They might understand the importance of online marketing. They might have their own online marketing department, and they might, who knows, they might even want to purchase your leads. But a lot of cases, if you find the ones with less reviews, but good reviews, these people are interested in getting leads, but they might not know, how to do online marketing, how to find leads on online arenas. So as you can see here, that might be the case. Now, that's not always the case, but what I've found is that happens to sometimes be the case. And you can do your own research. For example, let's look at the Tidewater Golf Club. And as we can see here, they happen to have a lot of photos. They happen to have a website. We can actually go to the website, and it happens that their website is down for whatever reason. And that might tell me, they had a website, they don't anymore for whatever reason. So what we're doing here is really just searching for places to approach. Whether or not they are approachable or not, you will find that out later probably. So that's a good avenue to find. Golf courses on Yellow Pages is a good place to go to as well. You can see ones that have stars. You can read reviews about them, kind of get an idea about them before you approach them, because a lot of companies, if you approach companies and you know just a little bit about them before you go there, a lot of them will kind of relate to you better. If you don't know anything about them before you get to them, then it's harder to close a deal. So now that you know how to use Google's local results or search results, you can go to local.yahoo.com. Then besides golf clubs, maybe I can search for just regular golf stores. Golf stops, golf headquarters, the golf center. And you can also see reviews here too. A lot of these places with good reviews are probably good, approachable people when you approach them. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Whether or not, if they're having great reviews, most likely they really care about their customers. They really want more leads and they really want to help their customers. Those are the types of businesses that you want to sell your leads to, because ultimately you get to help these people and they get to help their customers, and they understand the value of a customer. Some stores just want to sell because they make money. They don't really care much about the customer, and because of that, their need for a customer isn't going to be as great. Now, that doesn't mean that because they don't have any reviews that they're good or bad. That's why I say go use Google, because Yahoo Local is highly used, but Google Local is a lot more used. So you can also use Bing.com. If I search, let's say, South Carolina, or maybe I could search South Carolina best golf courses and find some directories with that information. Now, the better the rank they are, it's possible that, like I said, they already have online marketing. They don't really want to invest into some third-party, marketing, but some of these guys might be open to that. So you don't know unless you try, which goes back to the saying, you won't know unless you approach. Okay, great. So now you know how to find businesses. You can go find businesses, create your own lists, and then start approaching them. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up the whole system now that you know what niche to look for, and now that you know what businesses approach. We can set up the squeeze page so that in videos 4, 5, and 6, then we can market and send leads to that specific lead page.